Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, the topic of tonight's debate is that we should make domestic skills classes compulsory for all primary school students. Now, ladies and gentlemen, where does this topic come from? It comes from the idea that we are now challenging old stereotypes in our community. In the 1950s, ladies and gentlemen, it was quite acceptable for men to go off to work and for women to stay at home and manage the household affairs. This was the model of economic growth that we needed to recover from World War II. But times have changed. No longer should girls go to school and be channeled towards home economics and typing, and boys towards woodwork, graphics and computer science. It's important that we are giving kids equal opportunity, and so we believe that domestic skill classes should be compulsory for all. Ladies and gentlemen, we have defined the topic as follows. Domestic skills, household management skills such as cooking, sewing, shopping, budgeting, hygiene, nutrition, insurance, family health, etc. Classes, formal lessons taught and run by a government curriculum in schools, and compulsory, meaning all students must do it, or in other words, a core subject. And primary school students, we take the invited definition of prep to year 6. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the model of the affirmative team is that the government should create a domestic skills program as part of the Australian curriculum. It should be taught in all primary schools by qualified teaching practitioners and should be assessed in the same way as all core subjects. And we will take a social and individual focus tonight. Now to my case. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to raise 2 points from the point of view of society about why domestic skills classes should be compulsory. The first point will be about gender equality, and the second point will be about how the family structure has changed. To my first point about gender equality. If we asked boys and girls both to do domestic skills classes, this would break an old stereotype. As I said in my introduction, ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer living in the 1950s. Schools are a very powerful force in determining the gender stereotypes that kids grow up with and learn about. They behave the way they learn at school when they're in later life. If we continue to make domestic skills only for girls and home economics only for girls, we're never going to break through this terrible barrier that's been put up with women, and women will no longer be able to fight for equal pay, etc. We need to break through this, ladies and gentlemen. By making domestic skills a compulsory subject, we will include both boys and girls, and we'll be able to break through that stereotype. This leads me to my second point, ladies and gentlemen. The family structure has changed. Once upon a time, in that 1950s world that I spoke of, it was okay to let mum be the one to manage the household budget, and for mum to do all the cooking, and for mum to do the cleaning, and for mum to do all the repairs for clothing, etc. But nowadays, especially with the mortgage market being what it is, men and women are both working. Mothers and fathers are both working, and so the household duties are being done by everybody. Sometimes a grandparent, sometimes an older student, sometimes mum, sometimes dad. So it's important with this change in family structure that everybody is equipped to be able to run a family budget. So we believe that this means that domestic skills should be a core subject for all primary school students, because when they grow up and face this changing world, they're going to need those skills. Tonight I've raised 2 points, ladies and gentlemen, from the point of view of society. First, that we need to break through the 1950s gender stereotyping, and making domestic skills compulsory will achieve that. And secondly, that because the family structure has changed away from the traditional nuclear family, everybody needs domestic skills, and therefore it should be a core subject. These points have shown, ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt, that domestic classes should be compulsory for all primary school students.